It takes time to build. It really does. It takes a lot of time to build something. So the earlier you start, the better it is. Don't wait for people to help you. It takes time to build. So I heard a story. Um, there was one great financial, well established businessman that came to a certain university and he wanted to speak to a college student. So the college student came and he told them, listen, I don't really have time. I'll just take one question from each of you. College student started asking questions. And he's like, okay, time up. I gotta go now. So the one guy who came from a very poor family, he was burning inside. He said, I'm not gonna let this guy go. I have to ask questions. And nobody was picking him to ask his question. So as the guy was leaving down the hallway, the guy came out and then said, please, I got a question. He said, okay, go ahead. What's your question? Hurry up, I gotta go. He said, how did you make it? How did you make it? Like, how are you so successful leading and managing all these businesses and everything? He said, my boy, I made it because I made a lot of good choices in my life. I made good choices in my life. And then he said, thank you, gotta go. He started going down. The boy, he said, what? You make good choices in your life? He said, no, I gotta follow him. I have another question. The guy was already in his car, about to go. He already started the car. He started going. He said, wait. I still got it. Please, just get this. How were you making good choices so that you can be here and be successful? How were you able to make good choices in your life? The businessman looked at him. He said, well, bad choices, my boy. And he left. So in other words, here's a moral story. Sometimes in life, you make good choices after you've made bad choices. But until you start doing it, nothing happens. So if you think of it really, I'm not telling you to go and make bad choices so you can learn good choices. But also what I'm saying is that you cannot avoid bad choices if you're willing to make it successful. So you learn as you go. Now here's a trick. The quicker you fix your mistakes, the better you are learning and the closer you get to your success based on what you're trying to achieve, right? So in jazz, for example, I remember when I was in jazz school, one of my lecturers used to tell me, in jazz you gotta make the mistake boldly. When you play your scales, say for example you're playing 12-bar blues, taking a solo, you got some licks, you got some patterns, you got some 2-5-1s, major, minor and stuff. Make the mistake boldly. When you make the mistake boldly, it sounds right. It sounds as if people know what you're doing. That spoke a lot to me. And I think of my life like a jazz pianist. Of course, I'm not teaching music now, so I don't want to get much in details with that, but the point is, I'm not afraid to make mistakes. And my question to you now is, why are you still afraid to make mistakes? Who said you will get it right the first time around? Think of it this way. If you don't get it right the first time around, and probably you get it right the 11th time around, that means you just learned 10 ways of not doing the same thing. And the quicker you move after making mistakes, consistency, keep learning, the better you improve yourself. So already you know 10 ways of not making the one thing work. And that's experience that nobody will teach you unless you start. My question now is, why aren't you starting that business? Why aren't you starting that project you've been writing, analyzing, evaluating? Why do you wait for people to sponsor you before you start? Start small. You make good decisions after you've made bad decisions. The key is to start now. The key is consistency. Don't give up.